Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, depends on where we are. Apologies for the false start. We just had a few things going wrong, but we are here. Thanks for everyone for joining. On behalf of the London School of Emerging Technology, from myself, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for holding on. I'm really glad you could hold on and see us tonight. My name is Marco. I'm going to be hosting things for you this evening with LSET, and this is what we love doing. We love putting entrepreneurs, we love putting innovators, we love getting founders in the same room, or in this case on the same screen, with people who've actually done this and can share their experience and what really works. So today's a special one because we are today talking about the UK immigration with the Mobility series that we're having, whereby we're going to have a look at the immigration routes typically available to both talented professionals and entrepreneurs alike who are building careers and businesses, particularly here in the UK. So I'm really excited about today's topic. It's one that I'm interested in because it does get misunderstood a lot, for one, and it's good to know how things really go ahead and work. So it's going to open up a lot of brilliant opportunities for yourselves, for entrepreneurs, and for those who are looking to build something new. So as you can see on screen, today's title is the Innovator Founder Route. We're turning innovation into UK residency. So this goes to those who are maybe thinking about launching a business, who are thinking about moving their stuff into the UK, growing one that they've already got, or perhaps just wanting to understand how innovation can open up the door to long-term residency. Well, you're in exactly the right place tonight because we have just the right people for the job. It is one of my favorite parts of this evening, which is introducing our wonderful speakers, our talents. Joining us this evening is Maya Kalinowska, who is a corporate immigration specialist, who will tell herself is a UK visa specialist and strategist, and the founder of MVK Legal. Maya spent many years advising entrepreneurs, innovators, and startup founders from all across the landscape professionalism on the UK immigration law, with a real focus on the global talent and innovator founder routes. Maya's helped clients from all over the world secure the UK residency. She's helped building applications that are really strong and well put together, backed all by solid legal and commercial evidence. And it doesn't just stop at immigration law either, because Maya also advises the businesses on expanding internationally, on moving talent across borders, and also growing in the UK market. So Maya, enough said. Thank you for being with us tonight. It's really nice to have you. It's good to meet you too. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Marco. It's wonderful to be here once again. I think we have an echo of my voice. Let me just try and...
Take your time. I've also had a few issues on my side with the internet, so if that's something we can solve on the go, we'll do our best to. But I'm hearing you okay, Maya, if that's your thoughts.
Yes.
So in the meantime, I'll keep an eye out for anyone. Feel free to join in and say whatever you want to. Well, please contribute to that on the chat as we're seeing things come through. How are we doing, Maya? Any better?
Yes, I think we are better now. So thank you so much for the introduction, Marco. It's wonderful to be here once again. And I'd like to extend my thanks to everyone joining us today as well. Entrepreneurship has always been about solving problems, creating value, and bringing new ideas to life. Interestingly, that's exactly what the Innovator Founder Route is designed to recognize. Over the years, I've noticed that many entrepreneurs misunderstand what this visa is actually looking for. Some believe it's simply about registering business in the UK. Others believe this is only about technology and only technology startups are eligible. Neither of those assumptions is correct. Today, we are going to explore what makes a business genuinely innovative, how endorsement works, what decision makers are looking for, and how founders can position themselves for success. Whether you're still developing an idea or already running a growing business, I hope today's discussion gives you practical insights that you can apply immediately.
Incredible. In which case, I think what we'll do is we'll before we start getting into the legal detail, because I know it's going to come, I wanted to introduce with a bigger question first. I think just looking at what we've got on screen, when people first hear or read the words Innovator Founder Visa and the Route. I mean, a lot of people assume that it's just a visa for anyone just wanting to start a business here. And I'm asking, is that actually the case?
Well, I'm very glad you started there, because that is one of the biggest misconceptions. The Innovator Founder Route isn't designed for every new business. I mean, the UK has already many successful businesses. What the government is looking for through the Innovator Founder Route are businesses that can contribute something different, ideas that demonstrate innovation, that have commercial potential and grow over time. Think of it this way. If someone tells me they want to open another coffee shop on a street already filled with cafes, that's unlikely to meet the requirements for the Innovator Founder Visa. However, if that same entrepreneur has developed an AI-powered retail platform that completely changes how cafes manage customer engagement, inventory, and loyalty programs, we are now talking about innovation. The visa isn't rewarding business ownership alone. It recognizes entrepreneurs who bring fresh thinking, new solutions, long-term economic value. That's why today's discussion is less about immigration paperwork and more about understanding what makes business attractive from both a legal and commercial perspective.
Right. All right. So we've got enough coffee shops. And I love that distinction actually, because it does make a difference. It changes how founders should be thinking about this route altogether. Less about the can we start a business at all, to putting the pivot on, can you build an innovative business? Can you build a business that actually contributes to the UK economy?
That is exactly right. Once entrepreneurs understand that difference, the entire application process starts to make much more sense. So let's build on that idea and explore why entrepreneurs from around the world are increasingly considering the Innovator Founder Route.
Right. Okay. Well, I think that really brings us on to this slide, which sums it up today really nicely. Learn entrepreneurs, start founders, and innovators can establish a business in the UK whilst working towards a long-term residency. So a lot of people are drawn to the UK because of its reputation as a global business hub, and perhaps from where you're sitting, I'm asking, what makes the UK so attractive for innovative founders, especially?
There are several reasons. Firstly, the UK has one of the most established startup ecosystems in the world. It brings together investors, universities, accelerators, research institutions, technology companies, and entrepreneurs in a way that creates tremendous opportunities for collaboration and growth. Secondly, the Innovator Founder Route gives entrepreneurs the freedom to focus on their own business. You're not tied to a traditional employer. Instead, you're building your own venture, developing your own products, creating your own opportunities. Another important advantage is the possibility of working towards long-term residency, provided you continue to meet the relevant immigration requirements and your business develops successfully. But I always remind founders that residency should never be the only goal. The real objective should be building a sustainable business that creates genuine value. If your business succeeds, the immigration journey becomes much stronger because the two are very closely connected.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So it sounds like this route is much more rewarding people who are playing the long term, building something with real staying power rather than just looking for the next short term move.
Exactly. The UK isn't simply offering entrepreneurs a place to live. It's offering an environment where innovative businesses can thrive. Founders who understand that broader opportunity usually develop stronger businesses and, in turn, strong immigration applications.
That's a really, really good point. I know a lot of people who will get super hyper focused on the visa process itself. It's a whole process, and they forget about the business ultimately that they should be running once they actually land.
Absolutely. The visa is only the beginning of this journey. The real success comes from building a business that grows, creates jobs, serves customers, and contributes to the wider economy.
That's right. So I suppose the next natural question to you, which is on slide, is this: what actually makes the business sustainable for this route? To actually get into what the founder will need to know and understand going into this process.
Yes, of course. So the first reason is the opportunity to build and grow an innovative business in the UK. Unlike some immigration routes that focus on employment, this pathway is specifically designed for entrepreneurs who want to create and lead their own ventures. Secondly, there's no minimum investment requirement. In the past, entrepreneurs had to demonstrate a fixed investment amount. The current route, the Innovator Founder Route, places much greater emphasis on the quality of the business idea rather than the amount of money available. That means innovation, viability, scalability carry far more weight than the financial resources alone. Another important advantage is the ability to work on your own venture. As founders, you have the flexibility to focus on developing your business, adapting to market conditions, responding to customer needs without being tied to a traditional employer. Finally, applicants gain access to one of the world's leading startup ecosystems. The UK offers exceptional opportunities connect with investors, accelerators, universities, research organizations, and experienced entrepreneurs. This environment can significantly support business growth. It is important, however, remember that these opportunities come with expectations. Decision makers want to see a business that it has a genuine innovation, commercial potential, and the ability to contribute to the UK economy.
Wow, so there is a real flexibility and opportunity there too. But sounds like it's fairly selective also. It's because it's built to attract the right founders who can go on and generate that actual economic impact.
Exactly. This isn't simply about approving a visa application. It's about identifying entrepreneurs who have the vision, the capability, the commitment to build successful businesses that benefit both themselves and the UK.
Wonderful. Well, that's a great foundation to build the rest of today's conversation on. So we've covered broadly what the Innovator Founder Route actually is and why it existed in the first place. But next up, we'll look at what makes a business idea eligible, who this route is actually suiting for and how founders can start putting together a strong application for. Wonderful. Well, I think we've got something important here. So this route is going to reward the business that brings real innovation and the growth and the long-term value more than it just rewards a simple act of starting a company. Okay, so we've got that sorted, I believe. Now to move on to an equally important question, which is coming up on the slide, which is who this visa is actually designed for. So I would guess that a lot of the entrepreneurs watching tonight, amongst you, probably already run a business back home. Some of you might be consultants, some may own a successful SME, or others might just have a business idea floating about. So how do they actually work out whether that route is actually right for them? Is their business worthwhile?
Yes, and this is exactly one of the first conversations that I have with every client. Before we discuss the visas, we focus on the business itself. I always ask them about their business. What problem are they solving? Who are their customers? Why does their business exist? Many founders assume this route is only for technology startups. Technology certainly plays a significant role, but innovation can exist in many industries. I have worked, for example, with founders in healthcare, education, sustainability, logistics, financial services, digital marketing, creative industries, professional services. The common factor isn't the industry. It's whether the business introduces something genuinely innovative. For example, imagine someone who owns a traditional clothing shop. That alone is unlikely to qualify for the Innovator Founder Route. But if that same entrepreneur develops an AI-powered platform that personalizes fashion recommendations while reducing inventory waste using predictive analytics, suddenly the business becomes much more innovative. Innovation can come through technology. It can also come through processes. It can come through business models. The important question is what makes the business different from what's already available?
Right. That sounds like a great idea, but innovation, it doesn't mean that it needs to invent something that the world has never seen before. You don't have to be an inventor. Innovation often just means adding to or improving an existing industry.
Yes, that's exactly right. Many successful applications are based on improving existing markets. Innovation doesn't always mean creating something the world has never seen before. Sometimes it's solving an existing problem in a much smarter way, faster, or more sustainable way. That's what endorsing bodies are looking for.
Okay. Well, here's one that I get asked a lot too. So people are asking, I actually have the successful business. It's just outside of the UK. Can I simply lift and shift and just bring that business into the UK?
Yes, and that is a great question. And yes, I am often asked this question. The answer depends on how the business will operate in the UK. Simply copying an existing business model usually is not enough. As an applicant, you will need to demonstrate how the UK business will introduce innovation, create value, and contribute to the UK market. The UK business should have its own clear commercial strategy rather than simply replicating what already exists somewhere else.
Okay, so it's less about the provenance, less about where the company started, but always again the value that it's actually going to bring onto the shore to the UK. Value is what
Yes,
matters.
that is the key principle.
Got it. So now that we know who this route is actually for, I suppose we better get into what makes the business innovative in the first place. For that, then I'm going to start, Maya, with the word of the day. It's the word innovation. We've said it about 15 times already tonight. So now, legally speaking, how does an endorsing body actually define the word innovation? What does it mean?
That is an excellent question because many founders misunderstand innovation. So, innovation is not measured by how exciting your idea sounds, it's measured by the value your business creates. We can look at a few examples. Suppose someone develops software that automates legal document review using artificial intelligence. That's innovative because it improves efficiency and solves a real business problem. Now, consider a founder creating an online education platform using adaptive AI to personalize learning for every student. Again, that's innovation because technology is improving the customer experience. Innovation can also involve introducing sustainability, automation, new digital platforms, or entirely new commercial approaches. What assessors want to understand is does this business solve a real problem in a better way? And that's really the heart of innovation.
Got it. Okay, so that when someone turns around and they ask you, "Hey, I have a business. It's a great business idea." Your next question probably shouldn't be how much money do you actually bring to the table, but what is the problem that your business is actually solving?
Exactly. Because investors ask that question, customers ask that question, and endorsing bodies ask exactly the same question. Every successful business starts by solving a genuine problem. If you can't clearly explain the problem your business addresses, then it becomes much more difficult to demonstrate innovation.
Mm. Now, I've seen Dragon's Den. I imagine founders too, they get pretty attached to their ideas emotionally as well.
They absolutely do. And that is understandable. But endorsement is based on the evidence rather than the passion. You need market research, competitor analysis, customer validation, commercial reasoning. Innovation needs to be demonstrated, not just claimed.
Got it, got it. So it sounds like innovation is really dressed up creativity with commercial thinking blurred in.
That's exactly right.
So let's say you've shown an actual bit of innovation, you've got something in mind. What actually happens next? How does the endorsement process actually look like? This is where it all gets a bit lost, I think, because many entrepreneurs aren't entirely sure what the word even means. What does endorsement really do? Could you perhaps talk about how the process really works?
Yes, of course. Think of endorsement as an independent assessment of your business. Before you apply for the visa itself, your business idea must first be reviewed by the endorsing bodies. These are endorsing bodies that are approved by the Home Office. Their role is to determine whether your proposal, your business idea, genuinely meets the innovator founder requirements. The process usually begins with developing the business concept. After that, you will prepare a detailed business plan explaining the opportunity, market, financial model, growth strategy, and why you are the right person to lead the business. The endorsing body reviews all of this information. They will also invite you for an interview and they will ask additional questions. So, in the interview, this is not their opportunity. They don't use this to catch applicants out. They're just trying to understand whether the business is genuinely innovative, viable, and scalable. If they are satisfied, they will issue the endorsement. Only then, once the endorsement is issued, the applicant can move to the visa application stage. The Innovator Founder Visa is a two-stage application.
Well, so endorsement itself isn't simply the signing of the document. It's the business assessment that we expected.
Exactly. It is a process, and that is why preparation for endorsement is so important. A well-prepared founder usually performs much better because they understand their business inside and out. They know their customers, they know their competitors, they understand their finances. They can
Mm.
confidently explain why their business deserves endorsement.
Right. Now I had to put you on the spot, but if you could give a, one good piece of advice to anyone who's preparing for this endorsement, what would it be?
I would say this: don't prepare your business plan only for immigration purposes. Prepare it as if you're presenting it to an investor. If your business is convincing enough to attract investment, it's usually much easier to demonstrate credibility during endorsement. Founders who understand every aspect of their business always present much stronger applications.
I think that's great advice. It's going to push the entrepreneurs towards building a better and a stronger business, and the stronger applications would naturally come along with that too.
Exactly. The visa application is temporary. The business is what will ultimately define your success.
Well said, Maya. Okay, well, we've covered the basics now. I think we've got an idea as to what the Innovator Founder Route actually is and who it's for, and what the word innovation actually means. So I wanted to go over to the next part of today's session. We'll go into how to build up that said business plan that is going to stand out, and as well as the most common reasons that are usually rejected. To look at also a few practical case studies to help you understand what a successful application looks like in practice. For that, then, I think with the picture that's coming clearer here is that the endorsement isn't just handed out willy-nilly just because someone's got a great idea. Endorsement is giving out from showing that your business is actually commercially viable, like you said, it's innovative, and it can scale, so it can grow. So to move on to something that every entrepreneur should have, which is a strong business plan. And the business plan is what a lot of entrepreneurs today have already got in mind, if not written. But I guess there's a real difference between a business plan that was written for investors as well as a business plan that was written for the Innovator Founder application that we're talking about. So my question is, what makes a business plan stand out during this endorsement process?
Yes, and that is an excellent question. A business plan for the Innovator Founder Route should tell a clear and convincing story. It should answer 5 simple questions. What problem are you solving? Who experiences that problem? Why is your solution different? How will the business make money? And why are you the right person to build this business? These may sound straightforward, but many founders focus only on describing their product. Endorsing bodies want to understand the business behind the idea. For example, if you're developing a digital healthcare platform, don't just explain the technology. Explain the healthcare challenge you're addressing, who benefits from your solution, how you will reach the customers, and why your approach is different and better from existing solutions. A strong business plan demonstrates that you've researched your market, understand your competitors, know your customers, you have realistic financial projections, and have a clear roadmap for growth.
Right. Like always, it's less about having the clever idea itself. The idea is not so much the be all and end all, but it's about proving that idea can be turned into a real sustainable business.
Exactly. Innovation opens the door, but commercial viability keeps it open. One mistake I often see is founders trying to impress with complex language or lengthy documents. In reality, clarity is far more important. Decision makers want a business plan that is structured, realistic, and easy to understand.
Okay, well, that makes sense actually. Simple often reads far more confident than complicated.
Yes, absolutely. If you can clearly explain your business in a few minutes, it usually means you understand it well.
Okay, well, of course, not every application is going to go and succeed. So for that, then let's go and have a look at the most common reasons that applications get turned down. And this might be the most useful part of tonight, I think, just to get into, because knowing the common mistakes, the pitfalls and the traps up front will save people a lot of time, a lot of heartache. So the question then is, I guess, what is the most frequent reason that applications are rejected?
Yes, there are several recurring issues. The first reason for rejection can be lack of innovation. Many business ideas are commercially viable, but they don't demonstrate anything new or anything different. The second is insufficient market research. Founders sometimes assume there is demand, but they don't provide evidence of that. Another common issue is that there's no clear competitive advantage. If your business looks exactly like what's already available, assessors will ask why the market needs another one. Financial planning is another area where some applicants struggle. Unrealistic projections or vague revenue models reduce confidence in the application. Finally, founders often underestimate the importance of demonstrating their own capability. The endorsing body isn't only assessing the business, they're assessing whether you have the skills and experience to successfully deliver it.
It's tough. So even the best business plan can get rejected, even if if it's not backed by some good evidence or strong evidence that it is actually credible as it's made out to be.
Exactly. The strongest applications combine 3 things: a great idea, a capable founder, and clear evidence. If one of those elements is missing, the application becomes much weaker.
Wow. Well, I suppose that really backs up something you've said a few times tonight, which is that preparation is key. Preparation is everything.
It certainly is. The more thoroughly you prepare before applying,
the
stronger your chances of success.
Okay, well, let's put this into practice. We've seen the bad. Why don't we couple it together now with some real good examples? And I'm gonna like this slide because it helps us move into more of the things that we're interested in. Let's go through some of these examples perhaps together, if you can, Maya.
Yes, of course, absolutely. Let's begin with a few examples. So the first example can be AI recruitment platform, for example. This business uses artificial intelligence to improve recruitment by matching candidates more accurately, reducing hiring time, and helping employers make better decisions. This demonstrates clear innovation, solves a real market problem, and has strong scalability. It's exactly the type of concept that could align well with the innovator founder requirements, provided the founder can demonstrate capability and provide supporting evidence.
Okay, so the technology itself isn't enough on its own. The founder is still going to need to prove that they can deliver it.
Yes, exactly. We can have a look at example number 2, a traditional coffee shop. This might be a profitable business, but unless there's something genuinely innovative about the business model, technology, or customer experience, it's unlikely to satisfy the innovation requirement. Or finally, the case number 3, a digital health platform using technology to improve patient care. Healthcare technology is an area where we often see strong innovation because businesses are solving meaningful problems while also offering opportunities for growth and wider economic impact.
Right, yeah, when it comes to brass tacks, I think all these examples, 1, 2, and 3, show that innovation comes down to the value the business creates. So that's about the industry itself that it finds itself in.
Yes, exactly. So whether it's healthcare, education, finance, retail, or logistics, the question remains the same. What makes this business different? How does it improve existing solutions? Can it grow?
Okay. So now that we've seen these 3 examples, let's take it a step further, shall we? Because I suppose the thing that we're interested in is what happens after the visa is gone and approved. To know what is beyond the visa. I love this title on the slide because it's going to capture the best thing. Getting the visa is only the start of the journey. So what should the founders focus on once they have passed the visa and they've established themselves in the UK?
Yes, I couldn't agree more. One of the biggest mistakes founders make is treating visa approval as the final objective when it's just the beginning. So, in reality, the visa approval is the beginning of an exciting business journey. Once you're operating in the UK, your priorities should shift towards growing your customer base, building strategic partnerships, recruiting talented people, refining your product or service, and exploring investment opportunities. The UK offers access to accelerators, incubators, universities, innovation hubs, and global investors. Entrepreneurs should actively take advantage of these opportunities. At the same time, it's important to remain compliant with immigration requirements and continue developing the business in line with the commitments made during the endorsement process. Ultimately, the long term success of your business is what creates lasting opportunities, not just in terms of commercial growth, but also your future in the UK.
So the visa really just creates the opportunity for you. It's then down to the founder to turn that into something more successful.
Yes, exactly. The Innovator Founder Route isn't simply about entering the UK. It's about building something meaningful, creating economic value, and becoming part of the UK innovation ecosystem.
Okay, well, I think that's a wonderful note to finish on. It's a good reminder too that entrepreneurship is a long game. It's well beyond the immigration process itself. Well, thank you, Maya. I mean, I know we've covered a lot about what businesses, strong businesses ideas looks like. then I had to prepare for the endorsement. We've talked about the common mistakes to go off and dodge and what the success actually looks like finally after the process and you're in the UK. What I want to do in the last section together is we'll put it all together into more of a practical self-assessment of sorts, and we'll introduce something exciting for the LSET for aspiring founders to wrap up with a live Q&A session for a few closing thoughts if we can. So again, really, really thank you tonight, Maya. I think today's chat has made one thing absolutely clear. Success on the Innovator Founder Route comes down to the building something that creates real value and has still all the room to grow well beyond simply just securing the visa. But before we wrap up, let's help everyone by taking stock of where they actually really are already on their journey. So Maya, today's session, all throughout, we've explored innovation, we've looked at business planning, we've looked at endorsement, we've looked at common mistakes. Again, if someone was watching tonight out there and is considering this route, what questions should they ask themselves before deciding to apply?
Yes, I think this is probably the most important slide in today's presentation because it encourages founders to pause and honestly assess their readiness. Before submitting the application, ask yourself, is my business genuinely innovative? Can I clearly explain what makes my idea different from any existing solution? Secondly, have I validated my business idea? Have I spoken to potential customers, conducted market research, tested demand? And third, can my business grow? Decision makers want to see scalability. They want confidence that your business can expand, create employment, and contribute to the UK economy. Finally, am I personally ready? As founders, we often focus on the business, but the endorsing body is also assessing you, the founder. They want to know whether you have the skills, experience, resilience, and commitment to turn your vision into a successful business. If your answer to these questions is yes, you are already building a strong foundation for your application.
Okay. Well, I like that idea because it reads less like an immigration checklist, more like a checklist for the entrepreneurship itself. Because if you can't confidently answer these three questions about your own business, it might be worth strengthening your business before applying in the first place.
Yes, absolutely. Sometimes the best advice I give my clients is not to apply immediately. Instead, spend a few more months refining your business model, gathering evidence, validating the market, strengthening your profile. Waiting 6 months to submit a stronger application is often far better than submitting an application before you are ready.
Yeah, you're right. That's great, wonderful advice. Don't rush it. It frames preparation as an investment rather than a delay itself.
Absolutely. The strongest applications are rarely rushed. They are the result of careful planning, research, and consistent preparation.
Okay, well, building a successful business also comes down to having the right ecosystem around you and the right support network that you can reach out to. And that's precisely where organizations like LSET can come in. So, Maya, all throughout today's discussion, I mean, we've talked plenty about innovation, we've looked at business planning and long-term growth, but many entrepreneurs will also ask, where can I find that support? Once I decide to build my business, where can I look? And that's exactly why I just wanted to take a moment to do this thing about, the thing that we're here today, of course, with LSET is our webinars, our education webinars tonight are only just one part of the picture. LSET go on and support entrepreneurs directly through the Startup Incubator, the program which is built for founders at every stage, whatever mix of mentorship or workshops or expert guidance or networking, investor readiness or connections into a wider startup community that you might actually need. So it doesn't matter where you are in the process, whether you're still in the shaping the idea or gearing into investment or scaling something that's already working, the goal is all the same and simple, which is to help you founders turn good ideas into something real and long-lasting.
Yes, and I think that's incredibly valuable. As an immigration lawyer, I often tell clients that receiving a visa is only one part of the journey. The real challenge begins after you arrive. Building a successful company requires guidance, mentorship, access to experienced professionals, and opportunities to connect with the wider business community. Programs like the LSET Startup Incubator create exactly that environment. They help founders strengthen not only their businesses, but also their confidence as entrepreneurs. For many applicants, being part of a supportive ecosystem can make a significant difference in turning an idea into a successful company.
Supporting it, absolutely. And if you would like to know more about this, on screen, the Startup Incubator, you can follow the QR code or follow the website yourself. But the team is also available on hand and more than glad to share details after today's session. So do have a look at what else we've got coming up too, whether there's more programs, there's always more on the YouTube channel, more workshops, as well as entrepreneurship initiatives. And with that, then, I think we're on to the final part of tonight, which is, Maya, thank you so much for everything you've shared with us this evening, and it's been really, really good stuff. Again, practically everything from a wide range of topics, from understanding what makes the business innovative in the first place, down to preparing for the endorsement process itself and building up the business successful in the UK. But before we finish up, I thought I'll just open up the floor to the questions that I'm seeing flooding in. So if you are joining live, please do feel free to post your questions in the chat. That's always there, an option for you. And whilst we're waiting for those questions to come in, I'm keeping an eye out for them. Here's some that we often do hear a lot from entrepreneurs looking through this route, which I'm going to put forward to you, Maya, if you can kindly answer. The one that comes up a lot is, for those people that have already run a successful business outside of the UK, can those people outside the UK can they apply under the Innovator Founder Route if they already had a successful business outside of the UK?
Yes, yes, they can. The UK business must demonstrate innovation, viability, and scalability. So simply replacing an existing business model is unlikely to be sufficient. Applicants need to show that the UK venture will create additional value and contribute to the UK economy. So yes, they can, but there are requirements to be met.
Okay, so a bit of work has to be done there, and I suppose that asks it follows up with looking at those successful businesses. Would you say all of them qualify as innovative, all the successful businesses that do come through?
No, not necessarily. A business may be commercially successful without meeting the innovation requirement. The key question is whether it introduces something genuinely new or significantly improves existing products or services or business models.
Okay. So again, not an inventor, it's an innovator. And those amongst them, the advice that I would always, perhaps you'd be one to talk to those entrepreneurs who are still developing the business idea, still knocking a few ideas on the head. What advice would you give those entrepreneurs in those early stages?
My advice to them would be to spend more time understanding their customers, validating their business idea, researching the competitors, developing a realistic business plan. As we said, preparation. Strong preparation today creates stronger opportunities tomorrow.
Okay, strong preparation today. Okay, so if you could leave our audience refreshed with one final message, what would that message be?
I would simply say, don't think of the Innovator Founder Route as just an immigration pathway. Think of it as an opportunity to build something meaningful. Focus on solving real problems. Focus on creating value. Focus on developing a business that people genuinely need. When innovation, preparation, and determination come together, your visa application becomes much stronger. And so does your business. Success isn't about convincing someone to approve your application. It's about demonstrating that you're ready to build a business capable of making a lasting impact.
Well said. And an ecosystem around you can help more than this. Maya, thank you so much for sharing your experience, your expertise, and a really useful guidance with us tonight. I'm sure everyone, myself, certainly has come away with a much clearer picture as to what the Innovator Founder Route actually looks like and what it means to go off and build yourself a strong application for it. So from behalf of the London School of Emerging Technology, I thank you so much for spending your evening with us and for giving us all your advice, because we really hope today's webinar has inspired you to all think differently about the innovation, the culture around entrepreneurship, and the opportunities available both in the UK. And so if you do want to keep on building tonight, as I said, please do have a look at the LSET Startup Incubator QRs on screen, along with the upcoming webinars on the YouTube channel, as well as workshops we have, as well as all these other founder programs for innovators at every stage of the journey. Do stay connected with us through all the usual channels, through our website, through the social media, as for future events and sessions we might be having. So, Maya, thank you once again. Thank you for joining us as well. It's been a wonderful pleasure with you. An absolute hoot. In that case, we wish everyone the very, very, very best in your entrepreneurship journey. And we look forward to welcoming you to another LSET webinar very, very soon next week. From me to you then, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, Maya. All of those around. Until then.
Thank you. Wonderful day to everyone and to you.